My name is Sydney Sofwa from Group 3, a participant of this 12th cohort from Zambia. Our topic of discussion is: should African governments prioritize funding for research on population-specific genetic markers for prostate cancer over international collaboration? So here is my brief introduction. Africa has got 54 countries, and those 54 countries fall in two brackets mainly, which is low, medium to high to medium income countries. What that entails that is that the resource envelope for these countries is quite minimal. By being minimal, entails that allocation towards research, which is tailored towards specific genetic markers, becomes a problem. Hence, due to this limitation, it envisages that a research conducted locally may be too limited as opposed to research which is done in collaboration with the other countries. In so doing, I stand on the point that this research should be international collaboration. But why should we go the international collaboration way? Number one, there is global knowledge sharing. The global knowledge sharing comes with high sample size. When participants are increased from different countries across Africa, bringing together their research findings, it enhances the scope. Further, cancer genomics will benefit from diverse database for reliability, which is centered on increased coverage of this research. Also, international collaborations bring forth capacity building by leveraging on international platforms with increased skills, knowledge transfer due to limited specialized tertiary schools. What this implies that individual countries may not have facilities which support such research undertakings, but when collaboration is done between countries, different countries may come on board with different experts, also different research setups in terms of facilities. In so doing, again, the African Union has come up with what is called the African Medicine Agency. An example of an African medicine agency is European Medicine Agency. European Medicine Agency is an umbrella where all countries circled around Europe centers their research finding. What that means is that research finding spearheaded by European Medicine Agency, the findings are used in terms of a uniform regulatory framework and skilled towards a common goal. In so doing, under African Union, there has been a policy which is being drafted and tailored towards the establishment of African Medicine Agency. An example of that African Medicine Agency and why that is an umbrella which can collaborate with many countries to envisage to foster a research finding tailored towards this. It will become easy, meaning how because of the umbrella through which this research is being driven, it will mean that all signatories towards African Union are going to adopt that policy, which is tailored towards achieving certain goals in terms of prostate cancer. Now, where an individual countries carries out that research and they make benchmarks in terms of regulatory findings, and this agency, which is in respective countries, is not even categorized under WHO. Remember, WHO categorizes regulatory agencies into maturity level 1, 2, 3. And you will realize that in Africa, many countries, there are just a few countries which are classified as maturity level 1, 2, or 3. In so doing, a research finding which is spearheaded by a country which is not classified, its finding, no matter how beautiful or how accurate that can be, may not be generalized at a greater platform like Africa in all. But when such countries come together and they bring their expert skills together, coming from backgrounds which has been classified, also bringing forth human resource capital with specialized skills. It will foster reliability because there will be exchange of knowledge and skills through such platforms. And that research findings spearheaded by different human resource across Africa may benchmark on that regulatory aspect, thereby it will be adopted by respective countries. And once respective countries adopt such research findings, remember there is sovereignty which applies across, but the main document can be spearheaded by African Union. Then each country just adopt and fine-tune that policy to what is reliable and peculiar to the respective countries. Also, why the global, why the collaboration with other African countries is very much important. It hinges on global health solidarity and shared disease burden. You may realize that due to the rising number of prostate cancer has been echoed by the World Health Organization, this implies that local research approach will limit the impact of the result due to reduced sample size. Further, international will promote active progress and shared responsibility and uniform approach tailored to one coordinated voice as a continent over individualized countries. This will carry more weight. Uh, you may realize that due to sovereignty issues, there are bureaucratic approaches with respect to different governments. So, due to this bureaucracy in terms of resource allocation, human capital, and availability, many countries lag behind in terms of research. So, to provide a cover-up and spearhead development and access to health, international collaborations remains the mainstay as opposed to individual countries. And once that is recognized, a policy is fostered through international. It limits and saves resources to those countries which are constrained already. International collaboration further are more credible and influence life-saving decisions, which quickly delivers adequate tools, skills, and expert inputs. Example, due to lack of African-driven research during COVID-19, vaccine allocation became difficult for African countries, leading to inequity of access to vaccines during the SAGE period. However, the narrative is poised to change in terms of crisis because the roadmap for regulatory framework and the policy direction has been done through advocacy, and the advocacy is one which will be centered on international platform as a continent. In so doing, and driven by other research experts at African continent level, it will leverage such inequity which was seen in 2019 during the COVID surge, because there was the unfair distribution of vaccines. But when a policy is driven at such platform, it brings forth adequate fundings and reliability. Thank you.